All right, what's going on, guys? Today, Terry James, your mortgage guy, coming to you. What we're going to be exploring today is going to be points. Should you pay them? When does it make sense? And is it okay to buy your rate down? All right. So as many of you know, I've released other videos, but let's just briefly review. What are points? What does that mean? When it comes to buying your rate down. And so every lender you have, every mortgage loan that you do, you have the option to buy your rate down. Okay. And so what that's called is called points. And so the points are basically that percentage of your loan amount. It's that percentage of your loan amount is a one-time upfront cost, which is you essentially it's going to be included with your closing costs, down payment at the end that you pay to get a lower rate. So today, for example, let's say, 1 point typically will get you down to maybe 2/8, which is basically a quarter of a rate difference. So, if today your rate is 5 1/4 at 0 points, then if you pay 1 point, that can get you down to probably 5%. That all varies. It all depends on, where you're at in the market, different things. But for today's purposes, that's what we're using. All right. So let's say you have a loan amount of $500,000. You're borrowing $500,000, and 1 point is essentially 1%, which is $5,000. And so that $5,000 is what you'll pay at closing. One-time upfront charge. You pay that at closing, and that'll get your rate down from 5 1/4 to 5%. And so what you want to do is you want to factor in, and you want to run your own calculations when you start looking at, okay, is the cost worth it to buy your rate down versus not buying your rate down? And so I know that 5% looks better, but forget what it looks like, because that doesn't matter. The matter is the cost. What does it cost, and does it make sense? Dollars and cents. I don't care. Well, my buddy got 5%. I want a 5%. Doesn't matter. Let's look at the cost and see if it makes sense to buy the rate down to get that 5%. All right. So for example, if we're doing that on $500,000, your principal and interest payment is going to be a difference between 5 1/4 and 5%. Your principal and interest payment is going to be a difference of around $77. Okay. And so typically what you do is you take that $77, okay, which is the difference monthly that you're going to save. You times that by 12, that's going to get you around $924. And then from there, what you want to do is you want to take that 5,000, the cost that it's going to take you, you divide it by your 924, and that's going to tell you how many years is going to take you to break even. Okay, so that's going to be your break even mark. Now, typically, what I say is when it comes down to it, your break even mark, when you're starting to look at buying points down, buying rates down, your break even mark, I would recommend to stay within 3 to 4 years. You want to break even, which is the money that you spend. You want to break even in a 3 to 4 year window. The reason why is because typically, I think the average right now that most people stay in a loan is somewhere around between 4 and 5 years. Okay. So that's why I recommend that you want to break even within 3 to 4 years. If you can do that, then you may want to consider buying your rate down. Okay. And so the thing is that why you want to stay within that, because within that 3 to 4 year period, or within that 4 to 5 year period, is typically when you're going to either have to refinance. There's going to be some family things. Maybe you have kids going to college. There's all type of things that are going to come up within that 4 to 5 year period. Maybe you want to take advantage of lower rates, college funds, buy a car. There's a whole lot of things that come up within that period. So if you can earn the money back, or if it's worth it and you can break even within 3 to 4 years, then it totally makes sense to buy points. Okay, so the points are always a good option to look at. Even if you don't do it, you definitely want to educate yourself. You want to look at, okay, well, what's the cost? Does it make sense? Yes, it's going to be an extra $5,000 right now. that you pay up front. But if it's going to save you money, you know, if you can save money by paying to get your rate down, then it makes sense to do it. Okay. And so typically, you know, if you can break even, like I said, within that time frame, then essentially any time after that break even point, now you're going to be saving that extra $77, you know, at least for our example. So it can always vary depending on, you know, what the rate is, how many points is it going to drop your rate. So that's where you want to definitely, your mortgage lender, your loan officer should be going over that with you and at least seeing what the option is. You know, like, hey, if 1 point gets you to half a point, that may be something to look at, you know, or if 1 point is only going to get you, you know, an eighth, then, you know, it's probably not going to make sense at that point. So these are all the different options to look at, but that is a common question that a lot of people ask, you know, should I buy points? Should I pay to get the rate down? But definitely sometimes it makes sense. And so, so you just want to run the numbers, run the calculations. If you have any questions, definitely contact me, DM me, and always make sure you subscribe to the channel, as I'm always dropping different videos, trying to educate, trying to put the information out there. All right. You guys take care until next time.